WorkLights. Not an extremely exciting subject. In fact, probably right up there with stamp collecting or possibly Minecraft. But they do get a little more interesting when you realise how often you actually need one. Working as a carpenter, 99% of the indoor jobs I did required work lights. In fact, quite a lot of them. I swear my whole life was spent either baking under the Australian sun or baking under thousands of watts of fucking halogen work lights. If you've ever stood anywhere near, let alone tried to work under, a couple of 1,000-watt halogen floodlights, then you'll know the meaning of being cooked alive. Hey, future me here, just an FYI, while gathering images for this video, I typed in hot, sweaty workman. Yeah, that probably wasn't the smartest thing to do. Reminder to self, leave search filter on. I was going to have bangers and mash for dinner tonight, but funnily enough, I've really sort of had my quota of sausage for one day. Anyhow, back to the story. Like most of the time, if it was only a 20-minute job and not worth dragging all the extension leads through somebody's joint, or maybe if it was under the house and they didn't have any power, you'd get your offsider to stand over the top of you with a torch and shine on whatever you're working on, because it's just not worth dragging all the fucking shit out and dragging it all back in again. The other thing that used to piss me off is when you'd walk into somebody's house, they wanted to show you the cracks in their ceiling or their walls or something, and they'd say, "Oh, I'll turn on the light for you," and they reach over and switch on a 17-watt table lamp in the corner with a warm, energy-saving light globe. Well, fuck me, I should have brought my goddamn guide dog. Nowadays, however, with every incandescent bulb being replaced with cheap energy-efficient LEDs, as well as high-energy lithium polymer batteries, combined, of course, with mass production and slave labour, has unleashed a torrent of cheap work lights for the everyday man. No longer do you have to pay multiple hundreds of dollars for a rechargeable work light. But that asks the big question then, doesn't it? Are the cheap ones even any good? Are they even worth buying? Well, that's what we're going to find out today. G'day, my name's Jim, and today we're going to be checking out the Ozito PXC 18-volt cordless LED work light. The Ozito 18-volt cordless work light, paid for by me and bought from, you guessed it, Bunnings Warehouse. Sorry. Bought from Bunnings Warehouse for $48.98 Aussie delinquents, skin only, or add 45 buckaroos for a 2-amp battery and a cheap charger. The Ozito 18-volt work light outputs allegedly 2,000 looms and it weighs a reasonable 1.25 kilos, or just under 2 kg with a 2-amp battery. Light rotation range is 360 degrees one way, and the frame will rotate 130 degrees, giving you a better chance of lighting up whatever the hell you're working on. The work light is able to be hung by its included hook and then swiveled or bent into place, making it a lot more versatile and useful than some other lights that cost a hell of a lot more money, not to mention any names. The Ozito work light has twist dials on the lower side of the frame that lock it into place. They seem to work well with only just a gentle twist. That is quite nice not to be destroying your fingers while trying to tighten up lock rings and ripping the skin off your friggin' hands. On the side of the light itself, they have 2 adjustment screws that allow you to rotate the light all the way around. These don't have clicky lug things on them like the bottom ones do, but they don't take much force to tighten up. The amount of light it produces is impressive, and it easily rivals my corded LED work lights. Here it is up against my corded Arlic, and it easily stands toe-to-toe with it, even though it is 240 volt. The light itself is not actually much bigger than my phone, but when you include the frame with it, it's around the size of an adult shoebox. I swear I'm psychic. I just heard somebody say, "Yeah, but I bet the bloody battery doesn't last long." Well, it doesn't actually say how long the battery will last, so I guess we better test that ourselves, eh? Okay, so let's chuck a 2-amp fully charged battery on it, and we'll turn it on, and we'll put the stopwatch on as well, and we'll see how long this thing lasts for. Well, there you go. That surprises the shit out of me, because I would have bet money that that would have only gone for about 20 minutes. It's actually gone for 1 hour and 59 minutes on a 2-amp battery. That's pretty friggin' good. So if my mathematics serves me correctly, which, well, considering I went to a public school, I doubt it, a 4-amp battery should last 6 hours, and a 6-amp battery should last 8 hours. That should be definitely good enough to bang in some new pipes and chuck in a new dishwasher underneath the sink. Yeah, can you guess what I'm going to be doing shortly? So that reminds me, if you'd like me to videotape me swearing and most probably bleeding, comment below. I'll record it and post it for posterity's sake. Prosperity. Ah, fuck it. This is a pretty good light. I think it'd come in handy for any kind of DIY or, working on your car, etc., etc. And after 2 hours straight of using this light, it's no hotter than ambient temperature. Well, considering I'm in Australia, ambient temperature is usually about the same as the depths of hell, but it's cold enough to pick up and handle straight away. Unlike a halogen light, if you've ever had one of those on for 5 minutes, you can cook an egg on the fuckers, literally. I think my biggest criticism of this light would have to be where they've placed the on-off switch. I can't get my fat fingers in there, and I seem to be stumbling around looking for where the fucking thing is, unless it's sitting there right in front of my face. And personally, I don't like on-off potentiometer switches. Yeah, I know that's probably a funny thing to hear somebody say, but I just get flashbacks of the hundreds of pots I've had to replace in mixers and amps and shit over the years. To me, it's just the weakest point. It's the first place that shits itself. I don't know, maybe they've made on-off potentiometers heaps better in the last decade, and I'm just not aware of it. If you're into electronics and have any idea what the hell I'm dribbling about, then comment below. Are these potentiometers still the weakest point? To me, I would prefer a separate on-off switch because this one's going to get hammered, and a normal on-off switch rocker will put up with a lot more abuse than I think an adjustable pot will, in my opinion. Call me crazy, spank me and put me to bed early, I don't know. The Ozito cordless WorkLight looks like it should be able to take a bit of rain. They don't say anything about that in the manual. Not that I suppose it'd matter anyway, because if you've seen my battery teardowns, you'll know it doesn't take much moisture to fuck up the electronics in one of these 18-volt batteries. Conclusion and summary time. Yeah, it's not a bad tool. I haven't put thousands of hours on it yet, but I tell you, I certainly will be. And if it ever does die, I'll be giving it an autopsy for your watching pleasure. But in the meantime, I think this would be pretty good for someone to have around the home, around the shed, around the farm, around the workshop. I reckon for the money you can't really go too wrong. They also reckon it's got a 5-year warranty, so take a photograph of the receipt, email it to yourself, and if it does ever fucking shit itself, take it back, get your money back, or get a new one for free. Alright peoples, well I hope you enjoyed the video, and just remember your opinions count, so comment below if you own one of these. Would you recommend it? And are you glad you bought it? Also, if you want to do us a huge favour, help support Australian content. There's not many of us out here on YouTube, so share my video on your social and PM to people you don't like. That way, if they block you for spamming, you won't care. Pretty sure everyone has blocked me for spamming them with my videos. Oh well. I will hopefully have another video out in a couple of days. I try and put one out at least a couple of times a week, but unlike a lot of other YouTubers, I'm just a one-man band. It's just me writing scripts, filming, editing, narrating, and publishing, and I do this for free. I don't get any kickbacks. I don't get any products. I don't get anything given to me. I get $1 single a day that YouTube gives me. No, I'm not joking. I wish I was. And I don't care, as long as you like my vids. So, thanks for being here, and remember, you always be good, stay safe, and I'll see you around like a result, trendsetters.
Techno.
Cosmopolitan Railway.